Yaksha Prashna. The Yaksha Prashna are a series of questions asked by a Yaksha to Yudhishthira. It is part of the Aranya Parva, which means towards the middle of the Mahabharat. The 5 Pandavas and their wife Draupadi are in exile for 12 years, and in the 13th year, they have to live in Ajnatavasa. The episode starts towards the end of their 12 years. They meet a Brahmin who is looking for his arane sticks, the 2 sticks used to rub together and start a fire that he uses in his Homa pujas. He says that a deer has grabbed his arane sticks in its antlers and has run away. The Pandavas tell him they will help him get back his sticks. As they are walking in the forest, they cannot find the deer, they lose their way, and they are very thirsty. Draupadi is very tired, so they sit under the shade of a tree, and Yudhishthira tells Nakula to go and look for water. Nakula has gone for a long time and has not returned, so Yudhishthira sends his twin brother Sahadev. Actually, what happened to Nakula was that he had gone a little far and had found a wonderful lake. He was about to drink water from it when he heard a crane standing in the middle of the lake address him. "O Nakula, do not drink the water. Answer my questions first, and only then will I allow you to drink the water, for this is my lake." Nakula does not heed to what he has just been told. It is a mere crane. So he drinks the water, and the water turns to poison and he falls dead by the lake. Sahadev also comes, and he too is warned by the baka, this wise supernatural bird, and Sahadev also does not follow his dictates. After Sahadev come Arjuna and Bhima. All 4 brothers are now lying dead by the bank of the lake. So Yudhishthira now comes to look for water, and when he hears the baka, he stops and he thinks that surely this creature is not a regular bird. So he asks him, "Who are you, great one? And I believe you have a part to play in the condition of my 4 brothers lying dead here." The baka replies, "I am actually a yaksha." A yaksha is a nature spirit. It could be a tree spirit. The yaksha then shows himself to Yudhishthira. He is as tall as a palm tree. He is effulgent and he is hovering in the sky. The yaksha says, "Answer me some questions, O Yudhishthira, and only then will I let you drink water." So Yudhishthira humbly agrees to answer the questions as best as he can. And this dialogue that happens between Dharmaraja Yudhishthira and the Yaksha is also called Dharma Baka Upakhyan because it is what the Dharmic Baka asks. All the questions are related to Dharma, the conduct of life, philosophy, and eternal truths. Prashna number 1. Yaksha Uvacha. Kim swid adityam unnayati kecha tasyabhitascharaha kaschayna mastam nayati kasmincha pratitishthati. The Yaksha said, "What is it that makes the sun rise? Who keeps him company? Who causes him to set? And in whom is he established?" Yudhishthira Uvacha. Brahmadityam unnayati devastasyabhitascharaha dharmaschastam nayati cha satye cha pratitishthati. Yudhishthira answered, "Brahma makes the sun rise, the gods keep him company, Dharma causes him to set, and he is established in truth." The second Prashna. Yaksha Uvacha. Kena swid chotriyo bhavati, kena swid vindate mahat, kena swid dvitiyavan bhavati, rajan kena cha buddhiman. The Yaksha asked, "By what does one become learned? By what does one attain the great? How can one have a second? And O king, how can one acquire intelligence?" Yudhishthira Uvacha. Shrutena shrotriyo bhavati tapasa vindate mahat, dhritya dvitiyavan bhavati buddhiman vriddha sevaya. Yudhishthira answered, "It is by the study of the Shrutis that a person becomes learned. It is by ascetic austerities that one acquires what is very great. It is by intelligence that a person acquires a second, and it is by serving the old that one becomes wise." The third Prashna. Yaksha Uvacha. Kim Brahmananam Devatvam Kascha Dharmaha Satamiva Kaschaisham Manusho Bhavaha Kimesham Asatamiva. The Yaksha asked, what is the divinity of the Brahmins? What is their practice that is like that of the pious? What is the human attribute of the Brahmins? And what practice of theirs is like that of the impious? Yudhishthira Uvacha. Swadhyaya esham devatvam tapa esham satam iva maranam manusho bhavaha parivado satam iva. Yudhishthira answered, self-study is their divinity, tapas is their pious practice, liability to death is their human attribute, and slander is their impiety. The fourth Prashna. Yaksha Uvacha. Kim kshatriyanam devatvam kascha dharmaha satamiva kaschaisham manusho bhavaha kimesham asatamiva. The Yaksha asked, what is the divinity of the Kshatriyas? What is their practice that is like that of the pious? What is their human attribute? And what practice of theirs is impious? Yudhishthira Uvacha. Ishwastram esham devatvam yajya esham satamiva bhayam vai manusho bhavaha parityago satamiva. Yudhishthira answered, arrows and weapons are their divinity. Celebration of sacrifices is their pious act. Liability to fear is their human attribute, and refusal of protection is their impious act. The fifth Prashna. Yaksha Uvacha. Kim ekam yajjiyam sama kim ekam yajjiyam yajuhu ka chaisham vrinute yajyam ka yajyo nati vartate. The Yaksha asked, what is the sama of the sacrifice? What is the yajus of the sacrifice? What is that which is the refuge of a sacrifice? And what is that which sacrifice cannot do without? Yudhishthira Uvacha. Prano vai yajjiyam sama mano vai yajjiyam yajuhu rigeka vrinute yajyam tam yajyo nati vartate. Yudhishthira answered, life is the sama of the sacrifice. The mind is the yajus of the sacrifice. The rik is that which is the refuge of the sacrifice, and it is rik alone which sacrifice cannot do without. The sixth Prashna. Yaksha Uvacha. Kim swid avapatam shreshtham kim swid nivapatam varam kim swid pratishtamananam kim swid prasavatam varam. The Yaksha asked, what is most valuable to those who cultivate? What is most valuable to those who sow? What is most valuable to those who bring prosperity in this world? What is most valuable to those who procreate? Yudhishthira Uvacha. Varsham avapatam shreshtham bijam nivapatam varam gavaha pratishtamananam putraha prasavatam varaha. Yudhishthira answered, those who cultivate value rain the most. Those who sow value seed the most. Those who bring prosperity value the cow the most. Those who procreate value the offspring the most. The seventh Prashna. Yaksha Uvacha. Indriyarthan anubhavan buddhiman loka pujitaha sammataha sarvabhutanam uchvasan kona jivati. The Yaksha asked, what person enjoying all the objects of the senses, endowed with intelligence, regarded by the world and liked by all beings, though breathing, is not yet alive? Yudhishthira Uvacha. Devata tithi bhrityanam pitrinam atmanascha yaha na nirvapati panchanam uchvasan na sajivati. Yudhishthira answered, the person who does not offer anything to these five, gods, guests, servants, ancestors, and himself, though endowed with breath, is not yet living. The 8th Prashna. Yaksha Uvacha. Kim swid gurutaram bhumehe, kim swid uchchataram cha khat, kim swid shikrataram vayoho, kim swid bahutaram trinath. The Yaksha asked, what is heavier than the earth? What is higher than the heavens? What is faster than the wind? And what is more numerous than grass? Yudhishthira Uvacha. Mata gurutara bhumehe, khat pitocharas tatha, manah shigrataram vatat chinta bahutari trinath. Yudhishthira answered, the mother is heavier than the earth, the father is higher than the heaven, the mind is faster than the wind, and our thoughts are more numerous than grass. The 9th Prashna. Yaksha Uvacha. Kim swit suptam na nimishati, kim swit jatam na chopati, kasya swid hridayam nasti, kim swid vegena vardhate. The Yaksha asked, what is that which does not close its eyes while asleep? What is that which does not move after birth? What is that which is without a heart? And what is that which swells with its own impetus? Yudhishthira Uvacha. Matsyaha supto na nimishatyandam jatam na chopati, ashmano hridayam nasti, nadi vegena vardhate. Yudhishthira answered, a fish does not close its eyes while asleep, an egg does not move after birth, a stone is without heart, and a river swells with its own impetus. The 10th Prashna. Yaksha Uvacha. Kim swid pravasato mitram, kim swid mitram grihe satah, aturasya cha kim swid mitram marishyatah. The Yaksha asked, who is a friend of the exile? Who is a friend of the householder? Who is a friend of a person who is sick? And who is a friend of one about to die? Yudhishthira Uvacha. Sarthaha pravasato mitram, bharya mitram grihe satah, aturasya bhishang mitram, danam mitram marishyatah. Yudhishthira answered, in exile a friend is one's travelling companion. In the household, the wife is one's friend. The friend of him that ails is the physician, and the friend of one who is about to die is charity. The 11th Prashna. Yaksha Uvacha. Ko tithihi sarvabhutanam, kim swid dharmam sanatanam, amritam kim swid rajendra, kim swid sarvamidam jagat. The Yaksha asked, who is the guest of all creatures? What is the eternal Dharma? What is immortal, O best of kings? And what is this entire universe? Yudhishthira Uvacha. Atithihi sarvabhutanam agnihi, somo gavamritam sanatano mrito dharmo, vayuhu sarvamidam jagat. Yudhishthira answered, Agni is the guest of all creatures. The sacred nectar, the Sanatana Dharma, is immortal, and this universe is filled with air. The 12th Prashna. Yaksha Uvacha. Kim swid eko vicharate jatah, ko jayate punaha, kim swid dhimasya bhaishajyam, kim swid avapanam mahat. The Yaksha asked, what is that which sojourns alone? What is that which is reborn after its birth? What is the remedy against cold? And what is the largest field? Yudhishthira Uvacha. Surya eko vicharate, chandrama jayate punaha, agnir himasya bhaishajyam, bhumir avapanam mahat. Yudhishthira answered, the sun sojourns alone, the moon takes birth anew, fire is the remedy against cold, and the earth is the largest field. The 13th Prashna. Yaksha Uvacha. Kim swid ekapadam dharmyam, kim swid ekapadam yashah, kim swid ekapadam swargyam, kim swid ekapadam sukham. The Yaksha asked, what is one step on the path of virtue? What is one step on the path of fame? What is one step on the path of heaven? And what is one step on the path of happiness? Yudhishthira Uvacha. Dakshyam ekapadam dharmyam, danam ekapadam yashaha, satyam ekapadam swargyam, shilam ekapadam sukham. Yudhishthira answered, skill is one step on the path of virtue. The act of giving is one step on the path of fame. Truth is one step on the path of heaven, and good behavior is one step on the path of happiness. The 14th Prashna. Yaksha Uvacha. Kim swid atma manushyasya, kim swid daiva kritaha sakha, upajivanam kim swid asya parayanam. The Yaksha asked, what is the soul of man? Who is that friend bestowed on man by the gods? What is man's chief support? And what is his chief welfare? Yudhishthira Uvacha. Putra atma manushyasya, bharya daivakritaha sakha, upajivanam cha parjanyo, danamasya parayanam. Yudhishthira answered, the son is man's soul. The wife is the friend bestowed on man by the gods. The rains are his chief support, and the act of giving is his chief welfare. The 15th Prashna. Yaksha Uvacha. Dhanyanam uttamam kim swid, dhananam syat kim uttamam, labhanam uttamam kim syat, sukhanam syat kim uttamam. The Yaksha asked, what is the best of all praiseworthy things? What is the most valuable of all possessions? What is the best of all gains? And what is the best of all kinds of happiness? Yudhishthira Uvacha. Dhanyanam uttamam dakshyam, dhananam uttamam shrutam, labhanam shreya arogyam, sukhanam tushtiruttama. Yudhishthira answered, the best of all praiseworthy things is skill. The best of all possessions is knowledge. The best of all gains is health. And contentment is the best of all kinds of happiness. The 16th Prashna. Yaksha Uvacha. Kascha dharmaha paro loke, kascha dharmaha sada phalaha, kim niyamya na shochanti, kaischa sandhir na jiryate. The Yaksha asked, what is the highest dharma in the world? What is that virtue which always bears fruit? What is that which, if controlled, leads not to regret? And who are they with whom an alliance cannot break? Yudhishthira Uvacha. Anrishamsyam paro dharmas trayi dharmaha sada phalaha, mano yamya na shochanti, sandhi sadbhir na jiryate. Yudhishthira answered, the highest of duties is to refrain from injury. The rites ordained in the 3 Vedas always bear fruit. The mind, if controlled, leads to no regret, and an alliance with the good never breaks. The 17th Prashna. Yaksha Uvacha. Kim no hitva priyo bhavati, kim no hitva na shochati, kim no hitva arthavan bhavati, kim no hitva sukhi bhavet. The Yaksha asked, what is it that which, if renounced, makes one agreeable? What is it that which, if renounced, leads to no regret? What is it that which, if renounced, makes one wealthy? And what is it that which, if renounced, makes one happy? Yudhishthira Uvacha. Manam hitva priyo bhavati, krodham hitva na shochati, kamam hitvarthavan bhavati, lobham hitva sukhi bhavet. Yudhishthira answered, if pride is renounced, one is agreeable. If anger is renounced, it leads to no regret. If desire is renounced, it makes one wealthy. And if greed is renounced, it makes one happy. The 18th Prashna. Yaksha Uvacha. किमर्थम ब्राह्मणे दानं किमर्थम नटनर्तके किमर्थम चैव भृत्येषु किमर्थम चैव राजसु. The Yaksha asked, for what does one give away to Brahmins? For what to actors and dancers? For what to servants? And for what to the king? Yudhishthira uvacha, dharmartham brahmane danam yashortham natanartake भृत्येषु भरणार्थम वै भयार्थम चैव rajasu. Yudhishthira answered, it is for dharmic merit that one gives away to Brahmins. It is for fame that one gives away to actors and dancers. It is for supporting servants that one gives away to them. And it is for obtaining relief from fear that one gives away to kings. The 19th Prashna. Yaksha uvacha. Kena svid avrito lokaha, kena swin na prakashate, kena tyajati mitrani, kena swargam na gacchati. The Yaksha asked, with what is the world enveloped? With what is it engulfed in darkness? For what are friends forsaken? And for what does one fail to go to heaven? Yudhishthira uvacha. Ajnane-navrito lokas tamasa na prakashate. Lobhat tyajati mitrani sangat swargam na gacchati. Yudhishthira answered, the world is engulfed in ignorance. The darkness does not permit a thing to be illumined. It is from greed that friends are forsaken. And it is due to attachment to the world that one fails to go to heaven. The 20th Prashna. Yaksha uvacha. Mritaha katham syat purushaha katham rashtram mritam bhavet. Shraddham mritam katham va syat katham yajno mrito bhavet. The Yaksha asked, for what may one be considered as dead? For what may a kingdom be considered as dead? For what may a shraddha be considered as dead? And for what may a sacrifice be considered as dead? Yudhishthira uvacha. Mrito daridraha purusho mritam rashtram arajakam mritam ashrotriyam shraddham mrito yajyas twadakshinaha. Yudhishthira answered, for want of wealth may a man be regarded as dead. A kingdom for want of a king may be regarded as dead. A shraddha that is performed with the aid of a priest that has no learning may be regarded as dead. And a sacrifice in which there are no donations is regarded as dead. The 21st Prashna. Yaksha uvacha. Ka dik kim udakam proktam kim annam kim cha vai visham shraddhasya kalam akhyahi tataha piba harasvacha. The Yaksha asked, what constitutes the way? What is water? What is food? What is poison? Tell me also what is the proper time for a shraddha, and then drink and take away as much as you like. Yudhishthira uvacha. Santo dik jalam akasham gaurannam prarthana visham shraddhasya brahmanaha kalaha katham va yaksha manyase. Yudhishthira answered, the wise men show us the way. Space has been spoken of as water. Cow is food. A request is poison. A brahmana is regarded as the proper time of a shraddha. I do not know what you make of this, O Yaksha. The 22nd Prashna. Yaksha uvacha. Tapaha kim lakshanam proktam ko damascha prakirtitaha kshamacha ka para prokta kacha hrihi parikirtita. The Yaksha asked, what are the signs of ascesis? What is true restraint? What constitutes forgiveness? And what is shame? Yudhishthira uvacha. Tapa swadharma vartitvam manaso damanam dama kshama dvanda sahishnutvam hrir akarya nivartanam. Yudhishthira answered, following the right conduct is ascesis. Of all restraints, the restraint of the mind is the best. Forgiveness means the ability to bear conflict, and shame means withdrawing from all unworthy acts. The 23rd Prashna. Yaksha Uvacha. Kim jnanam prochyate rajan kaha shamascha prakirtitah daya cha ka para prokta kim charjavam udahritam. The Yaksha asked, what is said to be knowledge, O king? What is contentment? What is mercy? And what is straightforwardness? Yudhishthira Uvacha. Jnanam tattvartha sambodha shamash chitta prashantata daya sarva sukhaishitvam arjavam samachittata. Yudhishthira answered, true knowledge is that of the divine truths. True contentment is in the heart. Mercy is wishing happiness to all. And straightforwardness is equanimity. The 24th Prashna. Yaksha Uvacha. Kaha shatrur durjayah pumsam kascha vyadiranantakam kidrishishcha smritah sadhur asadhuhu kidrishah smritah. The Yaksha asked, what enemy is invincible? What constitutes an incurable disease for man? What sort of a man is called honest and what sort is called dishonest? Yudhishthira Uvacha. Krodha sudurjayah shatrur lobho vyadir anantakah sarvabhutahitah sadhuhu asadhur nirdayah smritah. Yudhishthira answered, anger is an invincible enemy. Covetousness is an incurable disease. He is honest who desires the happiness of all, and he is dishonest who is unmerciful. The 25th Prashna. Yaksha Uvacha. Ko mohaha prochyate rajan kascha manaha prakirtitah kim alasyam cha vijyeyam kascha shokaha prakirtitah. The Yaksha asked, what is ignorance, O king, and what is pride? What is to be understood by idleness, and what has been spoken of as grief? Yudhishthira Uvacha. Moho hi dharma mudhatvam manas tvatmabhimanita dharma nishkriyata alasyam shokas tvajnanam uchyate. Yudhishthira answered, ignorance means not knowing one's dharma. Pride is thinking of oneself as the actor and sufferer in life. Idleness is not discharging one's dharma, and ignorance is grief. The 26th Prashna. Yaksha Uvacha. Kim sthairyam rishibhihi proktam kim cha dhairyam udahritam snanam cha kim param proktam danam cha kim ihochyate. The Yaksha asked, what is steadiness as told by the rishis, and what is patience? What is real ablution, and what is charity? Yudhishthira Uvacha. Swadharme sthirata stairyam dhairyam indriya nigrahah snanam mano malatyago danam vai bhuta rakshanam. Yudhishthira answered, steadiness is remaining within one's dharma. True patience is the subjugation of the senses. A true bath consists in washing the mind clean of all impurities. And charity means protecting all creatures. The 27th Prashna. Yaksha Uvacha. Kaha panditah puman jneyo nastikah kascha uchyate ko murkhah kascha kamah syat ko matsara iti smritah. The Yaksha asked, what kind of man can be regarded as learned? Who should be called an atheist? Who is an ignorant person? What is called desire, and what are the sources of desire? What is envy? Yudhishthira Uvacha. Dharmagyaha pandito jneyo nastiko murkha uchyate kamaha samsara hetuscha rittapo matsaraha smritaha. Yudhishthira answered, one who knows his dharma is learned, An atheist is he who is ignorant. Desire is due to objects of possession, and envy is grief of heart. The 28th Prashna. Yaksha Uvacha. Ko hankara iti proktaha kascha dambha prakirtitaha kim tad daivam param proktam kim tat paishunyam uchyate. The Yaksha asked, what is pride and what is hypocrisy? What is the grace of the gods and what is wickedness? Yudhishthira Uvacha. Maha ajnana mahankaro dambho dharmo dhvajochrayaha daivam danaphalam proktam paishunyam paradushanam. Yudhishthira answered, a great ignorance is pride. The codification of dharma is hypocrisy. The grace of the gods is the fruit of our donations, and wickedness is speaking ill of others. The 29th Prashna. Yaksha Uvacha. Dharmascharthascha kamascha paraspara virodhinaha esham nitya viruddhanam katham ekatra sangamaha. The Yaksha asked, virtue, profit, and desire are opposed to one another. How could things thus antagonistic to one another exist together? Yudhishthira Uvacha. Yada dharmascha bharyacha paraspara vashanugau tada dharmartha kamanam trayanam api sangamaha. Yudhishthira answered, when a wife and virtue agree with each other, then all the three may exist together. The 30th Prashna. Yaksha Uvacha. Akshayo narakaha kena prapyate bharatarshapha etanme prichataha prashnam tat shighram vaktum arhasi. The Yaksha asked, O bull of the Bharata race, who is he that is condemned to everlasting hell? Are you capable of answering quickly? Yudhishthira Uvacha. Brahmanam swayam ahuya yachamanam akinchanam paschan nastiti yo bruyat sokshayam narakam vrajet. Vedeshu dharmashastreshu mithya yo vai dvijatishu deveshu pitridharmeshu sokshayam narakam vrajet. Vidyamane dhane lobhat dana bhoga vivarjitaha paschan nasti iti yo bruyat sokshayam narakam vrajet. Yudhishthira answered, he who calls upon a poor Brahmin, promising to make him a gift and then tells him that he has nothing to give, goes to everlasting hell. He also goes to everlasting hell who imputes falsehood to the Vedas, the scriptures, the Brahmins, the gods, and the ceremonies in honor of the Pitris. He also goes to everlasting hell who, though in possession of wealth, never gives away anything nor enjoys himself from greed, saying he has nothing. The 31st Prashna. Yaksha Uvacha. Rajan kulena vrittena swadhyayena shrutena va brahmanyam kena bhavati prabruhyetat sunishchitam. The Yaksha asked, by what, O king, birth, behavior, self-study, or learning does a person become a Brahmin? Tell me with certainty. Yudhishthira Uvacha. Shrunu Yaksha kulam tata na swadhyayo na cha shrutam karanam hi dvijatvecha vrittameva na samshayaha vrittam yatnena samrakshyam brahmanena visheshatah akshina vritto na kshino vrittatastu hato hatah pathakaha pathakaschaiva ye chanye shastra chintakaha sarve vyasanino murkha yah kriyavan sa panditah chaturvedopi durvrittah sa shudrat atirichyate yogni hotra paro dantah sa brahmana iti smritah. Yudhishthira answered, Listen, O Yaksha, it is neither birth, nor study, nor learning that is the cause of Brahminhood. Without doubt, it is behavior that constitutes it. One's behavior should always be well guarded, especially by a Brahmin. He who maintains his conduct unimpaired is never impaired himself. Professors and pupils, in fact, all who study the scriptures, if addicted to wicked habits, are to be regarded as illiterate wretches. He is learned who performs his dharma. Even though he has studied the 4 Vedas, he is to be regarded as a wicked wretch, scarcely distinguishable from a Shudra if his conduct is not correct. He who performs the Agnihotra and has his senses under control is called a Brahmin. The 32nd Prashna. Yaksha Uvacha. Priya Vachanavadi kim labhate, Vimrishita Karyakaraha kim labhate, Bahumitrakaraha kim labhate, Dharme Rataha kim labhate kathaya. The Yaksha asked, what does one gain when one speaks agreeable words? What does one gain when one acts with judgment? What does one gain when one has many friends? And what does one gain when one is devoted to virtue? Yudhishthira Uvacha. Priya Vachanavadi Priyo Bhavati, Vimrishita Karyakaro Adhikam Jayati, Bahumitrakaraha Sukham Vasate, Yascha Dharmarataha Sa Gatim Labhate. Yudhishthira answered, one who speaks agreeable words becomes agreeable to all. One who acts with judgment obtains whatever one seeks. One who has many friends lives happily. One who is devoted to right conduct finds one's way. The 33rd Prashna. Yaksha Uvacha. Ko modate kim ashcharyam kaha panthaha kacha vartika vadame chaturaha prashnan mrita jivantu bandhavaha. The Yaksha asked, who is truly happy? What is most strange? What is the path? And what is the news? Answer my questions cleverly, and your dead brothers will revive. Yudhishthira Uvacha. Panchame ahane shashthe va shakam pachati swe grihe anrini chapravasi cha sa varichara modate ahanyahani bhutani gachantiha yamalayam sheshaha sthavaramicchanti kim ashcharyam atah param. Tarko pratishtha shrutayo vibhinna naiko rishir yasya matam pramanam dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhayam mahajano yena gatah sa panthaha. Asmin mahamohamaye katahe suryagnina ratri divendhanena masar tudarvi parighattanena bhutani kalaha pachatiti varta. Yudhishthira answered, O creature of the water, a man who cooks in his own house on the 5th or 6th part of the day with scanty vegetables, but who is not in debt and who stirs not from home, is truly happy. Day after day, countless creatures are going to the abode of Yama, yet those that remain believe themselves to be immortal. What can be more strange than this? Argument leads to no certain conclusion. The Shrutis are different from one another. There is not even one Rishi whose opinion can be accepted by all. The truth about Dharma is hidden in caves. That alone is the path along which the great have trod. This world, full of ignorance, is like a cooking pan. The sun is the fire, the days and nights are fuel. The months and the seasons are the wooden ladle. Time is the cook that is cooking all creatures in this pan. This is the news. The 34th Prashna. Yaksha Uvacha. Vyakhyata me tvaya prashna yatha tathyam parantapa. Purusham tvidanim vyakhyahi Yascha Sarvadhani Naraha. The Yaksha asked, O repressor of foes, you have truly answered all my questions. Tell me now who is truly a man, and what man truly possesses every kind of wealth. Yudhishthira Uvacha. Divam sprishati bhumim cha shabdah punyena karmana yavat sa shabdo bhavati tavat purusha uchyate. Tulye priya priye yasya sukha-dukhe tathaiva cha atitanagate chobhe savai sarvadhani narah. Yudhishthira answered, the report of one's good actions reaches heaven and spreads over the earth. As long as that report lasts, so does a person. One for whom the agreeable and the disagreeable, happiness and sorrow, the past and the future are the same, is said to possess every kind of wealth. After this, the Yaksha, very pleased with Yudhishthira, says, choose one of your brothers to be revived. Yudhishthira chooses Nakula. So the Yaksha is surprised. He says, you have two strong brothers, Bhima and Arjuna. Why haven't you chosen them? Yudhishthira replies, I am a son of Kunti and I am alive. So a son of Madri should also live. To this, Yudhishthira follows up with, Dharma eva hato hanti, dharmo rakshati rakshitaha, tasmat dharmam na tyajami, mano dharmo hato vadit. One who sacrifices dharma is sacrificed by dharma, and one who cherishes dharma is cherished by dharma. Therefore, I never forsake dharma, and it too never forsakes me. Anrishamsyam paro dharmaha paramartha cha me matam. Anrishamsyam chikirshami nakulo yaksha jivatu. Abstention from injury is the highest dharma, and higher even than any object I can attain. I endeavor to practice this dharma. Therefore, O Yaksha, let Nakula live. Dharmashilaha sada raja iti ma manava viduhu swadharman na chalishyami Nakulo Yaksha jivatu. Let men know that the king is always virtuous. I will never depart from my dharma. Let Nakula live, O Yaksha. Kunti chaiva madri cha dve bharye tu pitur mama ubhe saputre syatam vai iti me dhiyate matihi. Yatha kunti tatha madri vishesho nasti me tayoho matribhyam samamichhami Nakulo Yaksha jivatu. My father had two wives, Kunti and Madri. Let them both have surviving children. That is what I wish. As Kunti is to me, so also is Madri. There is no difference between them in my eyes. I desire to act equally towards my mothers. Therefore, O Yaksha, let Nakula live. Yaksha Uvacha. Tasya te thatcha kamacha anrishamsyam param matam tasmat te bhrataraha sarve jivantu bharatarshava. The Yaksha said, since abstention from injury is regarded by you as higher than both profit and pleasure, therefore let all your brothers live, O bull of the Bharata race. The story continues that after this, the four brothers of Yudhishthira wake up and they are refreshed and nourished. Yudhishthira asks the Yaksha, surely you are not an ordinary Yaksha because my brothers are the greatest of warriors and you kill them. The Yaksha then shows his true form and says, I am Dharmaraja, your father, O Yudhishthira. I was the one that took the Arani sticks, the fire sticks of the Brahmin, so that I could beguile you to this lake and ask you these questions. And now I am glad to hear your answers, that you are on the path of Dharma. Ask me boons. Yudhishthira tells the Yaksha that they have a year of Ajnatavasa ahead of them. The Yaksha promises them that they will not be recognized and moreover, they will have the power to change their form at will for the 13th year of their Vanavas. Dharmaraja is so pleased with his son that he tells him to take additional boons. Yudhishthira asks him the boons that he already has in his character: virtuosity, endurance, patience, caring. The Yaksha points it out and says, "You will always have these because you were born with these." And this is how the story ends in the Aranya Parva.